Hey, what up, world? This is Raday here, author of the acclaimed book, Stand to Reason, Blacks in the Bible. And, I want first of all, I just want to thank you for coming to this, coming to this video. Hopefully getting into this series, man, getting some knowledge, which is like the most important thing right now, is just getting the knowledge. And the reason why, I took it upon myself to write this book was to answer a question, um, or should I say, solve a problem. I've been in many Bible studies and book clubs and, mastermind groups or whatever. And one thing that, kind of struck me one time is, somebody was, we're all just kind of spitballing, and somebody's like, if there's so many, damn churches, how are we not seeing God? Like, how is that possible? And it really got me thinking, like, what, how is it that we have so many churches? How is it that everybody knows the name of Jesus? How is it that everybody, has access to a Bible, but yet we're not really seeing the benefits? We as in black people weren't really seeing the benefits the way that we should. I mean, there's so many promises, there's so many rewards, there's so many, all this other stuff that the Bible promises that apparently we're not seeing. And you could talk to a bunch of people and they'll give you different answers. Some will say, well, it was Reagan, or it was slavery, it was white people, or it was, this or that or the other. And it's like, well, at the time, my focus was theology. A little bit about me is I was born and, pretty much raised in the church. Um, as I grew older, I, grew away from it, and then I got in some trouble and got back into it, kind of the classic story. And, at the time I was also going to college, and, I was running track and playing football. And, I was kind of so heavy into the church thing that I quit sports and became a youth leader. And then I joined the dance team, and then there was the production team, and then there was, like the praise and worship team and all this other stuff. And I was maybe at church 4 or 5 days out of the week. Some days, I was there for, over 3 services or whatever. First one in, last one to leave type guy. And that was my reference. Everybody has a story to tell, and that's what I feel life kind of is the narrative that you tell yourself. And my narrative at the time was, biblically based. And during that time I ran into a professor who poured into me, a black studies professor. And he's, telling me not just about recent black history, but ancient black history, not just slavery, but telling us about the days when we were pharaohs and we ran Egypt and we were kings and all this other stuff. I'm just like, whoa, I didn't even know that was us. you know and I did some independent research and found out that a lot of this stuff was true. And that kind of points to a big reason for why I wrote this thing, was because I wanted to have something that you don't have to be an expert to understand. A lot of this stuff that I got into, they have like exhaustive lists of pharaohs. They've had, they say, to get this information, you need to study this temple or this tablet or, this, that, or the other. And it's like, if you're not an archaeologist, if you're not an anthropologist, if you're not anything of the sort, well, then it's gonna be a little bit tough for you. And my whole thing, plus I said, like, I was into the theology, so my thing was, if I couldn't find it in my Bible, then I didn't want to really mess with it. Even though all that other good stuff was cool, but if I couldn't find it there, then what's the use? And so I just kind of took it upon myself to really research and dig, and I couldn't find a book that just had the knowledge that was just biblically based. There's a lot of stuff that you got to kind of read another source or another, weird book that its credibility is like, well, I don't really know where that's coming from. And even then, a lot of that material, it was really inflammatory. Like, uh even if I was feeling some type of way at the time, like, I knew that it's something that I couldn't take that material and relate it, because it was just so inflammatory, and it was just so, that it would just turn a lot of people off. And what's the point in having, a lot of this knowledge? Or what's the point in being, what's the point in being if you can't be with other people, pretty much. So, um, that's the reason why that is. And along those lines, pretty much for to get into this book and really understand it, you're only going to need a few things. The first thing is Bible, mainly the King James version. There's been, like, I don't know, thousands or hundreds of reprints and recopies. They do it every year, get more money, and if you just got the basic King James, you'll be okay. Plus, with those different translations, things have been taken out, things have been put in, words have been changed or whatever. So I feel that it's important to just really go back to the beginning and, with the basics of it all. And another thing is a Strong's Concordance. And a Strong's Concordance is pretty much a dictionary to use in concordance with the Bible. Is, if you have a question about a name or something or a word, you can go there, and it just, should be able to shed more light on things for you. And pretty much just like a dictionary. And let's see, internet access. And if you have internet access, which you probably do because you're probably watching this on the internet, then you have access to all of those for the price of, drumroll please, free 99. So everything's good. And along those lines, let me just kind of get this out of the way. Like, this is, I'm doing this video series, and if you're expecting some, long drawn out thing where I go over every reference and I sit here and pretty much read the thing to you, like, it's not gonna happen. That's just not the way that I learn. That's not the way that I work. I'm the type of person that I can tell you all about, the Jacobs and Isaacs and Gideons and Esau's and Jesuses of the day, but I can't tell you exactly where you can go to look up what I know. Like, I know it sounds weird, but I can tell you something about somebody, and I mean, everybody knows those people that they just like, well, oh, you're talking about, Second Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 11. You're talking about Daniel chapter 1,000 verses a million. And it was like, well, damn, I don't even know how you did that, but you know it, and that's great for you. I'm not that guy. you know which is kind of a reason why I wrote the book in the first place, because a lot of this was really just endless notes on in a binder. And I would tell people about this stuff, and I first of all, I didn't really have the references, the exact scriptures or whatever in my head, and I couldn't say, hey, well, you just go check my notes, it's in my notes. It was just like, if you have it in an official publication, then obviously it's, well, more official. So that's where that goes. Pretty much anything that you need for this is anything that a competent pastor should also be using. Your pastor shouldn't be using anything too overly specialized or whatever. So, and my thing, I think I said this before, I'll say it again, is that, the Bible's over like 1,000 pages or something. And if it can't speak for itself, then, that is what it is. But, I know that there's some people thinking that, well, I'm muddying the waters or what have you. Why are we talking about, blackness in the Bible? Why are we talking about, let's get to it, Black Jesus? Why are we talking about all this stuff? Why? And I get you, it's a valid point, but first of all, I just want to, I would like for that person, whoever they may be, I don't even know if they'll even be watching this, but, to know that the Bible is the most copied, it's the most popular, it's the most stolen, right, book in the world. It's really the most powerful book in existence, unless you got access to that, like, Illuminati Book of Death stuff, which doesn't exist, but you know what I'm saying. And to equate a people that seemingly need as much assistance as they can get to not equate them to this book when they should be, is really irresponsible on my part, because I know this and I'm responsible for this knowledge. Um, and that's why, I feel the need to do it. um, and another thing is, everything that I'm giving you is truth. And the Bible speaks for itself. It's not just me saying some stuff. There's over 480 something references in here backing up everything that I have to say, and I'd love to read this person, whoever you are. I'd love to read your book or your thesis or whatever on the subject matter, and tell me how I'm wrong. Tell me where I'm wrong. Let's see. Another thing that you're gonna need is, common knowledge, common sense. A reason why I say that is because a lot of people have been taught certain things that just really make no sense. But at the same time, they kind of just go along with it because that's the only way that they've been taught. And I'm thinking about some things right now, but if you get into the series, then you'll know what I'm talking about. But pretty much just common knowledge, common sense, and as we get into the series, you know, everything that goes against that common knowledge or common sense or whatever, I'm going to have scriptures or whatever to help back that up. I guess one other thing I'd like to kind of just throw in there for, you know, this is pretty much that goes to my fellow black people. There's going to be a lot of stuff in here that is designed to be uplifting to you. It's designed to be, I mean, really just truthful and expose a lot of the truths that have to do directly with you. And I guess a reason why I feel like I need to say this is just important. But this isn't a dick swinging competition. The last thing I want is for you to read this thing and then just go around thinking that because, what it says in some book, that you are somehow better than anybody else, or that, you got this thing, or, it's one of those things where, and I guess I kind of say this in the conclusion, but, if you really feel that way, then you understand that you have a even greater responsibility than anybody else, and you need to live up to that. So, with that, you get into this stuff, you feel a little bit better, and you do a little bit better, and that's the main aim of this whole thing. And to everyone else out there or whatever that thinks that it's curses that's keeping black people down, or it's some kind of, I think I went over this, it's white folks, or it's whatever, like, it's something that I can kind of go into. But the Bible says it best. It says, my people perish for a lack of knowledge. That's it. That means that for whatever reason, black people don't know what they're supposed to know. And this is part of what, we all should know. Not just black people, not just white people, but this is a part of what we all should know, especially, with Christianity being the most popular religion in the world, the Bible being the most popular book in the world. Even then, I mean, when we look at Western religions, the Judaism and Islam, it all ties into this same thing. So it's important for everybody to know this stuff. And, with that, we're going to get into the series. It's going to be a great series, trust me. And you're going to learn a lot. You're going to grow a lot.